Okay, so we learned in this episode that the true believers or the magical scientists or freaky scientists, whatever you want to call them, are now resurrecting dead bodies and infusing them with magic, which for me is a waste of time. They should actually use their resurrection powers to resurrect this entire plot for season 2. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach the Nerd, and in this episode we are reviewing episode 14 of Charmed, entitled Sudden Death. I really want to say that the writing has gotten better in this episode, but that would be a lie. But I am going to say this. I think maybe one of the writers or all of them may have been fired last week, because that's the only explanation I can come up with for another hiatus of another month. I mean, it's not coming back until March 27th. That's crazy to me. The new Roswell season starts March 16th. We're going to have new episodes of Roswell season 2 before we even get to the meat of season 2's Charmed. I don't know what's going on, guys. It's really weird. It seems like when they got these new showrunners, they ran away because something is happening in this series. So, as you can tell, this is another episode I'm not thrilled with. I am a huge Charm fan. I love the Charm Reboot fan. We all know this. I say this all the time. I am putting it out there so no one is triggered. And if you are triggered, then there's really nothing I can do about that because it's my opinion. So, guys, what the F happened in this episode? Here we go. I'm just going to break it down. So, once again, they're split. 3 groups. Mel, of course, is teamed with Harry. Honestly, if Mel was not a lesbian, I'd be worried about a triangle between Macy, Mel, and Harry, because she spends so much time with Harry. It's ridiculous. Just saying. But yeah, her and Harry go off to find the Dark Lighter, or to find Jimmy, because, you know, Harry is connected to him. So whatever happens to Jimmy happens to Harry. So it's imperative that they figure out why he's in danger and how to stop it. Well, Team Macy Maggie, which lasts about 5 minutes, they're going to try and figure out how to separate Jimmy and Harry. Well, then Maggie gets the bright idea that, hey, earlier in this episode, we tried to get the power of 3 to come back and it didn't work again. So it must be Abigail's fault. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Abigail. I like her as a character, but not what she's doing. But I mean, come on. Now it's getting a little old that she's blamed for all of their problems. We already learned last week what the issue is. It's you, your sisterhood. It is non-existent. Why are we trying to put the blame on Abby? But I digress. So Maggie comes up with a plan that she's going to go get the dagger, that basically the demon power stripping dagger that, you know, Abby used to take Macy's power. And Maggie's just going to go into this dungeon and get this dagger, you know, steal it. And that's going to basically undo whatever she did to stop them and block them from the power of 3. 2 things are wrong with this theory. Number 1, Maggie's going into this situation alone because her and Macy are separating again. And Macy, for the most part, doesn't seem concerned about the danger. She's more concerned that Maggie's going to go say, hey, I know Parker's alive. What is happening? If this is your sister, your baby sister, who is going into the lion's den, the den of the overlord of all demons right now, should you not be a smidget concerned about this? Nope. Not at all. Heck, she's not even ever married. She's never worried about Mel. I'm just saying, it's just, this is their problem. They have no idea what they need to work on to get their sisterhood on track, and they have no idea how to get the power of 3 back, and it's pretty obvious. You guys don't care about each other. I mean, come on. So anyway, long story short, Mel and Harry go back to all the places that Jimmy basically has ever gone to. So his, you know, Smitty's bar, you know, they end up in the facility where I think it was episode 2, where they were Jimmy was taking the magical creatures and putting them in pods. Well, it's abandoned, but actually what they learned is all the magical creatures that they freed, they were freed, but apparently they got some back. And the magical, freaky, true believer scientists, that's a lot to say, are basically making hybrid monsters from basically reanimated corpses, like we saw them do in the club. The corpse, I guess, host body for one of the things they created is creepy. It actually, Mel does this spell where she's able to see what happened, because they find like a head in like this tank and blah, blah, blah. They see like, lycanthropes, a bunch of different demons that are all in there like parts. So they want to know what happens. And they see this attack by this, creature that's on the table. And it's all covered in smoke. And I swear to God, guys, if you are a comic book fan, this is the Demon of Smoke from Earth 616 Marvel mixed with Hydro Man and Molten Man from the Spider-Man's. They're basically Spider-Man villains. But if you look at those pictures, if you look up Hydro Man, Molten Man, and Demon of Smoke, you will see that this is exactly what this creature looks like. So somebody is a Marvel fan or comic fan in this series. It's kind of cool, but completely unnecessary. So anyway, this creature basically kills everybody in the room, all the scientists that were messing or operating on, him, and then escapes. Then they're able to find a burner phone that's on the ground for one of the scientists that was trying to call for help. And Ray has a cop friend named Chuchi that is able to track down where the origin of the phone number it was called is. And it just happens to be in Minnesota, because why wouldn't it be? If I'm going to be evil, I'm going to Minnesota. Absolutely. So they go and they find the facility, and Mel's trying to use her powers because they can't, basically Harry can't teleport them through the door, so she's trying to burn her way through this barrier, but Harry basically senses Jimmy in this other room, and apparently he's back in his little magical genie bottle. They don't have his totem, whatever you want to call it, but they do have that. And then Mel basically is able to manipulate the elemental powers of the monster that comes out of another room. And it's the same one that was in the vision that they saw, or like the recreation spell that they saw in the facility that had all of the magical pods. And so, Mel basically uses her Elsa powers mixed with her fire abilities. I guess she's Firestorm, and I'm not really sure what her other power is. Maybe she might actually be the new Legend of Korra. I don't know. I think she might be the Avatar. But she blasts the thing, and it drains her and she passes out. But, she gets rid of it. And of course, now Harry has the bottle, and Mel and him basically go back home. So while all that happened, Maggie's in the dungeon because she brings Jordan along, because of course Jordan's like, hey, I need to do some good deeds or I'm going to die. Let me come with you, which is kind of an ulterior motive. He also wants to go with her. So they go to Abigail's, and Maggie pretends to get emergency text from Mel, and Maggie says, I'll be right back. And then she puts this spell on the guard to be very accommodating and takes her down to the dungeon to find the dagger. And of course, Parker's there because that's pretty much how this was set up. Of course, she's going to run into Parker in the dungeon. One thing I will say that was funny is in the beginning when she's talking to Macy about going to find this dagger, and Macy's like, well, you don't know where it is. And she's like, Maggie makes a comment saying, well, she has all these secret compartments, she's going to keep it close. Then she goes to Abigail's place and looks in all of the apparent, places like the big cabinet shelving of weapons, not looking for a secret compartment that she even referenced at the beginning of the episode. And then Parker's like, oh yeah, there's a secret compartment. Pull the compartment and bam, there's a dagger. Then they have their little thing where Maggie tells Parker, you're always going to be this way, blah, blah, blah. And it's so redundant. And then, of course, Jordan is upstairs with Abigail and under the ruse of him trying to get rid of his curse, which technically he's not. I mean, if she had information, I'm sure he'd be completely down with finding out what that is. But anyway, Abigail's like, oh yeah, tell me why you're really here. Oh, I know what it is. She's going downstairs to rescue her boy toy, and you're just the person that just came along. You're the smuck she's using. And, Abigail she is what she is. But which I thought was interesting is she had all of the wrong ideas. She literally thought that Maggie was there to either save Parker or to use a dagger to take the demon out of Parker. And Maggie's like, no, I'm just totally here to get this dagger because me and my sisters can't form the power of three. And Abigail says what all of us are saying. It's you guys. You guys are the problem. It's not me. Stare at the dagger. Just stare at the dagger. Do your little juju. And then you will see it's your fault, which it is. She went all the way there, this elaborate little plan, when she needs to be at home having a heart-to-heart with the two girls that are the actual problem besides her. But that's obviously not what they're learning in every episode, where everyone keeps basically saying their sisterhood is not strong. But, whatever. It's this new charm theory. So they're writing in Charmed. We're supposed to suspend our disbelief and not understand that they are the problem. But yeah, so one other thing I have a problem with is that Maggie gets visions. So she's holding the dagger. Should she not have gotten a vision of what Abby's actually doing? Why did that not cross her mind? She's holding an object that belongs to this person. She could have been like, oh, I'm seeing that you're doing stuff or something, Shada, or get a vision about something. Never crossed her mind because that was not in the script. So long story short on that, they go back. Maggie and Jordan have a moment. Before they leave, Parker asks Jordan to take care of Maggie, and Jordan's like, oh, she can take care of herself. And it's like, okay, it's a cute moment. It shows that Jordan is a very sweet guy. He has a lot of confidence in Maggie. Of course, I would too, because she has powers and, he doesn't. But we know it's leading up to them eventually getting together. And he's even doing the whole thing where I'm going to give you space to work your stuff out, but I'm here for you type stuff. So yeah, they're going to be a thing. And then we have Macy and Julian's interaction in this episode. Julian's coming on strong. He wants Macy. Macy, and if I said Maggie a second ago, I am sick right now, so I apologize. But Macy and Julian, their relationship is very interesting. It's interesting because in this episode, Maggie asks Macy where she stands with Julian and Harry. And Macy says she doesn't know where Harry stands, which is very weird because we've all known where Harry stood since the beginning of this season. So I don't know where she's been in the script. Maybe she's getting confused by the writing too. I don't know. But the whole interaction with Julian, it wasn't to me like romantic. It was more like infatuation of the fact that he's into science. It's almost like hanging out with somebody who has the same interests as you. It's cool. You talk for a long time, but there's no real romantic feelings there. I don't think she's as into Julian as we once thought she was. So yeah, she's definitely 180'd on good Harry. And now she's insecure thinking he doesn't want her, which is really crazy how fast that's shifted. But yeah, whatever. But I will say, Julian helped her a lot. He gave her a French dessert, which solved her problem. She now learns she can't separate, Jimmy and Harry from each other, but she could potentially put them together. The only downside is we don't know who the dominant personality would be if they merged. And so Macy goes to give Harry the news. And, she's like, I just don't want to lose you. She's like, it's almost like a pre-confession. I prefer you over your bad side. And he's like, well, if something would have happened to me, then I would have really missed our friendship. I would have regretted that the most. And I really want my friend back. And how could I get my friend back? And she hugs him and says, you just did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Harry just friend zoned himself. What is happening in this series? This was the perfect moment to have a heart-to-heart, to declare their undying love for each other. But no, because the writers got fired, and that's why it's coming back on March 27th. I don't know. I just don't know, guys. I keep watching the show because I really love the characters. It's just they're not functioning like they should be in a Charmed series. There is no sisterhood. Therefore, there cannot be a power of three. They don't act like they care about each other, hardly at all. The only moment where it kind of seemed like they had a bond was when Maggie saved Macy from her trying to telekinetically move stuff towards her and moving like bigger things through the house and almost, coming flying at her. And, Maggie had this vision last minute and was able to pull Macy out of the way. And that was like that tiny little bonding moment. And then it's gone. So yeah, I am so disappointed, guys. Like the last 5 episodes have really started spiraling downhill for me. And I really don't know where all of these components are going to end up. There's so many things that they're doing and they're trying to incorporate into one season. It is crazy. They are focusing on so many side stories, except for the one that should actually matter. The sisters. Let's hope that the writers did get fired, and maybe that is why they're stretching it out. Maybe they have a brand new writer's room, and they're like, please clean this mess up. We only have a handful of episodes left. Let's see what we can do to salvage this stuff. We know they got a season 3 coming. They got renewed, so we know that Charmed will be back. So maybe they can kick off the last handful of episodes with something that actually makes sense, that will tie all of this in together. I mean, even Aunt V having, the totem, the talisman, whatever, of Jimmy's. I mean, we knew that that's what it was. I still think Julian's calling the shots, though. I think he's a little too squeaky clean, and he's a little too perfect. I think Julian is totally heading up that organization. That's why he keeps leaving. But that's just me, because I was under the impression that Aunt V didn't have any money, that he was the self-made billionaire. So how's she funding this organization without his money? And if I had billions of dollars in a corporation, I would need write-offs in my quarterly report telling me where all my cash is going. It takes a lot of money to fund all of these scientists and all of these facilities and equipment. So I just want to know, if it is her, where'd she get the cash from? Because I remember when she first met Macy, and Aunt V was talking about how, her nephew was so successful and he's a self-made billionaire and blah, 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 that he was the one that had all the money. I just want to know. But yeah, so that is my kind of review / mini rant. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be a downer in these episode reviews, but I can't help it. It's just bad. Writing is it's all over the place. I mean, we still don't know why the true believer, freaky scientists, magical whatever people are even doing this. Aunt V said something about, all magic. We are going to save the world against magic by using magic in reanimated corpses. That's stupid. I mean, it was dumb when I learned that Hitler was part Jewish and was persecuting and basically having genocide among Jewish people in the Holocaust. And now you're basically telling me that people that are afraid of magic and think that magic is evil and is going to destroy the world is using magic against magic to stop magic. What? I digress. I love you guys. That is my review. I want to know what you guys think. If you have something redeemable, if I missed something, if I misspoke, leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you would like to know who's next on the nerd ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it. But hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.